Season 9 in Labrador is all wrapped up. This was a pretty good season overall, but it really felt like we hit a point at the end where food became non-existent for everybody, and it was like across the board for all competitors. And that was midday, mid 40s. We still lasted another 30 days, but uh, not lots of abundance, and that last stretch of the season was a lot of starvation. So on tonight's episode, Timojin ends up in third place, Carrie Lee gets second, and Juan Pablo, the new author of a new book, is our winner. I commented on somebody's comment last week about how, just because he wrote the book doesn't mean that he's not our winner, and I said you don't write a book if you get third place, and Juan Pablo did not. He is our winner. Woo! Not very good at holding the camera by myself. I'm actually out kind of on a vacation. Got suckered into being in a wedding this weekend, so yeah, we'll just have to deal with it. So let's talk about our top three. Let's go first to last. Juan Pablo, he was like pretty much going insane this episode. There were some camera shots of him like in the night, waking up in the middle of the night, turning the camera on to start talking, and then he's just all of a sudden he's just like, I don't even know why I turned the camera on right now. I have no idea at all. And some looks where he looked like he was fully insane. And then the last couple days, he looked great. Like when we saw him would take his shirt off for the medical check, like he wasn't a total he was like, you couldn't see his ribs. He still had a little bit of fat left to burn. He's probably not going to last another month out there, not bringing in any calories. But I think that he probably at least would have had another week, which Carrie Lee, who got second place, just did not. Her food dried up and just ran out of strength. Couldn't pull the bow back, and eventually had to tap out. So, all those gambles we talked about for Juan Pablo, they end up paying off for him as he is our winner. But, it did get a little sketchy for him tonight, as he did make some mistakes. Like he starts the fire on, I think it was day 64, in his oven that he built on like day 3. Hadn't used it for the entire season, and he's burning off paint, putting toxic fumes into his shelter, immediately getting a headache and like struggling to get past that. But he was able to almost cut himself with the axe, cutting firewood, now that he's decided to have these fires. But he avoided having that big mishap, that big mistake, and he gets the winner. Obviously pretty emotional when his partner Jennifer came out to let him know that he had just won the season. And that's not really surprising, because like I said, he was pretty much going insane. Like he was getting over emotional. Even we saw that with Carrie Lee as well. The starvation and the emotions start to go out of control. And yeah, but congratulations to Juan Pablo. Great to see a Canadian winner, as I am Canadian. He said the first ever Latino winner as well. So liked seeing both of that. And honestly, I would have been happy with any of our 3 finalists winning, because even though Carrie Lee isn't Canadian, she's barely across the border there in Sandpoint, Idaho, and actually out of all the contestants is the closest to me. So as we got through this episode, as we started going along, she was the person I was starting to root for more and more and more, especially after Dr. Tan tapped out in third place. I really was hoping that Carrie Lee was going to get that one more hare, one more grouse, one more squirrel, something to just give her a little bit more to get through another week, another 3 days, another 4 days, because that could have been enough. Because we didn't see the outcome of Juan Pablo's medical check. It's entirely possible that they would have pulled him there. I don't think so. I think they would have let him go another week or so. But yeah, Carrie Lee was so close, and it was tough seeing how hard she was on herself when really, like, I think she made it to day 77. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And that's one of the greatest performances ever on Alone. She's 57 years old and absolutely crushed it. So Carrie Lee, if you're out there, I want you to know that you totally kicked ass this season, and it was an absolute pleasure watching you. Yeah, even on this episode when she was struggling, was starving, she still had the fruit leather. I don't remember how long ago it was she made that fruit leather, but still taking in at least some calories. Obviously not enough for her to get the win, but pretty cool to see just how amazing she was this season. And I hope that this is an inspiration to have a little bit more of a diverse cast moving forward. I like cheering for uh, you know people that aren't just your standard prototypical person that we see on this show. Carrie being a woman, being older, having a different mindset, different skill set. She was entertaining. Even she's goofing around in the snow this episode. Like Juan Pablo, he's just having naps in his tent while Carrie Lee is doing skits, fake snowball fights out in the snow, taking a crash in the snow and laughing all along. You could really tell that the emotions were catching up to her at the end, and that her clock was running out for staying on the show, especially when we had that moment where she was sharing her "Do Your Dream" picture that she brought with her, her story about her friend who has cancer that she was doing this for. And yeah, we loved you, Carrie Lee. You pushed it as far as you could, and you were amazing. Lastly, we have Dr. Tan Timojin, who ends up in third place. He was looking pretty rough at the end there this season. Not much energy. He was dwindling down. I think he said that he could only really work for like 45 minutes a day at the start of the episode, and by the end we saw him like walking to get water, looking like an absolute zombie. That energy was just not there for him, and I think even last week the writing was on the wall for him to be our first tap out of the episode and wind up in third place. Timojin was great to watch this season. I very much enjoyed him. I thought that he was going to make it pretty far in this series for most of the season. I think he was probably the person I was rooting for the most. But as we came down to it at the end, I just didn't think that he was going to outlast Carrie Lee and Juan Pablo, especially after the way last episode played out, because it really felt like both of them had a little bit more energy, a little bit more reserves to push a little bit farther than Timojin. All right, that is going to wrap things up for this episode. I'll be back again next week when we kick off Alone Frozen. I think that's going to be a lot of fun with 6 former contestants coming back. Very excited to see Callie, who made it like 90 days to only get second place to the 100-Day King. Roland. There's lots of other returning competitors who are going to be a blast to watch as well, and I can't wait for it. So as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.